This program contains true stories of rescues. All of the 911 calls you will hear are real. Whenever possible, the actual people involved have helped us reconstruct the events as they happened.
Use the police department.
Often the best source of hope in a crisis is people committed to doing whatever it takes to try and save a life. I'm William Shatner. Tonight, true stories of danger, heroism, and faith on Rescue 911.
In the pre-dawn hours of January 3rd, 1991, in Maple Valley, Washington, 19-year-old Vicki White Eagle was getting ready to leave for her job as a nurse's aide. Her shift began at 6 a.m., before her parents even got out of bed.
Bye.
Greg Clementson traveled the same road as Vicki on his way to work.
The news had said there was a possibility in rural areas like I live that there would be ice, black ice that you can't see. It's not well lit, so I knew that I had to be extra careful on this road and on my journey to work. When I pulled around the corner, I noticed that there was a car in the ditch. I first thought that maybe this accident happened the night before. It's a dark road. I could see the victim, but not real clearly.
You get in an accident, I'm here to help you. Can you hear me?
Help me! Please help me!
The door panel had been jammed.
King County, please.
Yeah, I want to report a accident. A lady ran off the road, hit a tree. Car is very damaged. The lady is very shaken up. We don't know if she is hurt.
At 5:49 a.m., Greg's call came into the Valley Communication Center.
All right, we'll send someone out. Thank you.
Thank you.
23100 Woody Road, South.
Units with King County Fire District 43 were immediately dispatched to the scene. A call also went out to the volunteer members of the squad, including Vicki's mother, Virginia.
It was just a feeling I had that it might be her. And the address that was given, time-wise, would put it approximately where Vicki might be. And so it was something I couldn't just sit there and wonder and wait.
Among the first rescuers to arrive were firefighters Dave Stasiak and Bob Benedetti.
The car just looked lifeless. You couldn't really make out anybody inside. I had a strange gut feeling that something was wrong on this one. I was going to see something I was not going to like. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. Bob, can you get us a supply box?
We did not know how deep that stick was. We were judging anywhere from an inch to almost all the way through her neck. This is what was scary. But we knew that the wrong move would probably kill her in an instant.
Come on, you guys, break it.
She was only able to talk in one-word spurts, but it was clear, which gave me the confidence that she had an intact airway. She said her name was Vicki White Eagle, and I knew right then that I needed to talk to our captain.
Hey, that's Virginia's daughter, Virginia White Eagle.
Vicki?
Yeah.
Engine 83, Medic 5 with Engine 81 on location, injury accident.
Medic 5 responding.
Medic 5 responding, 0600.
When we continue,
She looks directly up at me, and all I saw were these very, very round eyes staring back at me, saying, "My God, I'm going to die."
As rescuers worked to free 19-year-old Vicki White Eagle from the wreckage of her car, Fire Captain Lee Adelsman, a close friend of her family, was growing increasingly concerned about how to get her out without disturbing the peace of a wooden fence that was lodged in her neck.
She was very scared.
Okay, Vic, I'm here to help you, okay?
She kind of set up a comfort zone around the stick to keep anybody from touching that stick and moving the stick.
It was really tough for us because the first thing we wanted to do was cut her out of there and get her going on the medic unit. But we didn't want to jostle her in any way. The whole thing hit me like a ton of bricks. I went to school with her. We were in the marching band together. She was just a really good friend.
We're okay, Vicki. We're helping you out. You okay, Steve?
when Vicki's parents, Virginia, and her husband, Ted, a former firefighter, arrived, they still did not know who was trapped in the car. Virginia went down to see if it was their daughter.
I didn't wait. I just kept going. I had no idea, no vision of what I was going to see when I walked up there. Lee Adelsman started walking towards me. And when you see somebody you know like that walking towards you, you kind of know.
I knew then it was Vicki, but I knew that she was in good hands because I trained a lot of those people.
If you know fire departments, everybody's pretty much a family in them. And to see somebody in that family in distress, you do exactly what you're trained to do, but you can feel the concern.
Her vitals were good. That's what really kept us going. But it's up to the person to have the will to go on, to live.
King County Medic 1 arrived, and paramedics Ed Plumley and Tony Scoccolo immediately took over Vicki's care.
I need somebody to get me the Doppler. I'd like to Doppler her carotids before we move her out of here.
I realized this was not going to be an easy extrication.
We thought initially we might be able to cut the stick, but any movement at all of the stick potentially could make her paralyzed.
We don't know if that object is up against maybe the carotid artery and it's actually preventing the patient from bleeding to death.
So we were left with trying to tape it in position and trying to make it so it wouldn't move around much on the way into the hospital.
Somebody else is going to have to get in position.
I'll get it once it starts coming this way. I got it.
Okay. Backboard coming in.
She looks directly up at me, and all I saw were these very, very round eyes staring back at me, saying, "My God, I'm going to die."
Less than 45 minutes after the first rescue workers arrived, Vicki was pulled free of the wreckage. She was carefully packaged and paralyzed with drugs for the 10-mile transport to Valley Medical Center. Doctors Greg Luna and Stephen Risa performed the delicate surgery.
Our main concern at that time was if the object is removed,
Without having good control of it in the operating room, there can be massive bleeding that you're unable to stop. It was about a centimeter away from the carotid artery or internal jugular vein, and it had just gone to the side of the trachea and esophagus and actually hit the bony spinal column rather than the cord itself, which carries the nerves. I think the stake went into probably one of the few places it could have gone without damaging at least one vital structure. The entire case itself is really a miracle in that the medics were able to get her out of the car and not dislodge the stake. That she had no significant injuries afterwards and actually recovered very well.
Everything went just fine.
I believe that everybody that was on the scene of my accident helping me out are all heroes to me.
The funny thing about it is Vicki has been our crash dummy for our drills. She's usually our patient that's stuck inside the car, and we cut her out and we save her.
She didn't panic. She knew just what to do. Otherwise, I think anybody else would have tried pulling the stick out, not knowing, what type of damage they may have done.
I'm very thankful that Greg stopped, pulled over, and to find out if I was okay. A lot of it depended on him, on what he did, because nobody else stopped by but him.
She's a very lucky girl. I think the thing to know and to learn from a situation like this is don't move a trauma patient unless it's absolutely necessary.
Good. All right.
Well, thanks for being there.
You're welcome.
I'm so thankful that I'm alive that it's no reason to get mad if someone laughs at me or points at me and says I have a hickey. It's like, hey, it's just a scar. And I lived through it.
Next.
We had one neighbor that stated he had shot someone in the past, and they believed that he was armed with at least one high-caliber rifle inside the house.
On the night of September 19th, 1988, in Indianapolis, Indiana, Tammy Wright and her husband Joe decided to take their 2-year-old daughter for a ride in Joe's tow truck as he hauled a car across town. They had no reason to be concerned as they made their way through the darkened city streets.
A friend of mine from school, Penny, her and her boyfriend, Troy, they asked us to tow a car for them. And it was just like any other wrecker run. Penny walked back to the wrecker to tell Joe where they wanted the car parked. She just kind of got a blank look.
Stop that thing! Move that damn thing!
It was stupid. I mean, he goes running after this guy, and the guy had already hit us in the rear end, not even tried to stop. I saw Troy take off like a madman. That was crazy, too, because the guy had already done damage, and we didn't know what he was capable of.
Joe Wright reported the accident to the roadside service company that had dispatched his truck.
Dispatch, Durant. Yeah, this is Susan at AAA Dispatch. One of our drivers has been involved in an accident.
I seen him come back around. I seen the guy pull into the driveway. Troy reaches into his trunk and grabs his ball bat and heads to the house.
Come on, go! Yeah? Come on, hey, come on! Let's go! He's got a gun. Come on, man, get out of the truck, come on!
Guy's got a gun.
A follow-up call to the Marion County Sheriff's Department reported that the suspect was now armed with a shotgun. Deputy Eugene Patrick was the first officer on the scene.
At that point, he told me quickly what happened and said the man with the gun is in that house and pointed to the house where he was at. I don't care who you are, police officer, fireman, or any John citizen, you get scared. You're not invincible. You can get shot too and killed.
Moments later, Sergeant Ron Carey arrived and took charge of the situation.
We had one neighbor that had spoken to one of the officers that stated he had shot someone in the past, and they believed that he was armed with at least one high-caliber rifle inside the house. Deputy Paul Thompson arrived on the scene with his dog Ando. He asked me what we had and where I needed him to position himself. I advised him to be along a driveway of the neighbor's house.
Damn.
The sheriff's SWAT team was also called in, led by Lieutenant Jim Wampler.
My gut told me something's not right here.
Canine 1675, I'm coming around from behind you, Paul. Make sure you keep your dog down.
Okay, Jim, I've got him down.
Good boy.
And I asked him if he had seen anything, and he told me nothing. And he hadn't even seen a curtain move since he'd been there. The whole house was dead quiet. Kind of like a cat, it kind of raised the hair on the back of my neck. There was curtains on all the windows. And if this guy was in that house, some of those curtains somewhere along at some point would have moved. I mean, this guy's not going to have people yelling at him without taking a peek every once in a while.
Stay on your toes.
There was a small garage back behind the suspect's house, so I decided I better go double check. When these things happen, there is always a space in there where everything just stops. You've already tried talking to the guy, so you quit. You shut the PA systems down, it hasn't worked. So what are you gonna do next? Everybody goes back and they sit and they think. The house is quiet, there's nothing going on in the street, we've shut all the traffic off. There is no noise, it's just dead silence.
$75, is that you back there behind the grass?
No, Paul, I'm almost back out to the street now.
Okay, I just heard something back here.
Okay, I'll see if I can get somebody back there to check it out, or I'll come back myself.
Sheriff, drop the gun!
Dispatch 75, I think got shots fired here.
Dispatch K9 16, I've been shot, my dog's been shot.
Down, Paul, get down!
It all happened so fast, all I remember is at that instant, I looked down at my dog, and he looked up at me. And it's an expression that I'll never forget. It was like, is this it?
Gary, go check on the dog for me, will you? He's hurt pretty bad. I'm all right.
When Ando was struck, he was struck in the head and chest. And when he realized he was in trouble, he looked to me. He was coming back for help. And I couldn't give it to him.
Deputy Paul Thompson was taken to be treated for a shotgun blast to the foot.
We'll take care of the dog.
Ando had reacted to save Paul's life without being given a command.
After everything he did, I just felt bad about leaving him away there. But luckily I had some friends who took care of him. The chaplain arrived. And I said, could you say a little prayer for my dog. And he did.
The suspect eluded capture that night, but turned himself in the following morning. He later pleaded guilty to attempted murder of an officer and battery on a law enforcement animal, and was sentenced to 30 years in prison. 3 years later, Paul Thompson has a new canine partner, Hero. But for Paul and his family, Ando will never be able to be replaced.
Ando is a hero. The fact that he is a dog should not depreciate from the fact that he committed an act. He committed the ultimate sacrifice by saving Paul's life.
Ando was honored as Indiana's Law Enforcement Officer of the Year, the first dog ever to win the award.
I felt bad that I could never express my gratitude to him for what he did, or say goodbye. I'd say thanks, my friend, for what you did.
Step out of the car, please.